In this video, we're going to subtract mixed numbers. So we're subtracting mixed numbers. So we're going to start this by subtracting mixed numbers where the fractions have common denominators. Okay, so here we have 7 and 5/8, subtract 3 and 1/8. So we've got eighths. Remember the steps to subtraction of mixed numbers. Subtract the fractions first, then worry about the or about the whole numbers. And we're going to see later when we get to somewhere we have to borrow why we have to do the fractions first. So I've got 5/8, subtract 1/8. So I've got a common denominator, so I just subtract the numerators. 5 subtract 1 is 4/8. 4/8. Now, of course, I can reduce that. Divide each by 4, because that's the greatest common factor. It's going to give me 1/2. 7 subtract 3. I should slide that out a bit, sorry. 1/2. 7 subtract 3 is 4. So my answer is 4.5. Okay, now I've got 2 and 3/4, subtract 1 and 1/4. I've got quarters, so I can just subtract 1/4 from 3/4 is going to give me 2/4, which in lowest terms, divide each of those by 2. That's the greatest common factor. Gives me 1/2. Now I'm done with the fraction part. 2 subtract 1 is 1. 5/8 subtract 3/8 gives me 2/8, which reduces to 1/4. 2 subtract 4 is 2, 2 1/4. 3/4 subtract 1/4 gives me 2/4. All these are annoying. We have to reduce them. Equals 1/2. So this one's 1/2 is my fraction. 6 subtract 1 is 5. Okay, let's try 14. 15 subtract 8/15 is going to give me 6/15. Okay, this one again, we can reduce. The greatest common factor is 3. So it's going to give me 2/5. My 5 subtract 2 gives me 3. So my answer is 3 2/5. Let's try that right below it, and then we'll go on to some more difficult ones. So we have 2/3 subtract 1/3 is going to give me 1/3. 9 subtract 4 is 5. Let's try this one over on the end here. 6/7 subtract 3/7 gives me 6/7. 23 subtract 4 is 19. Okay, so if we have common numbers already, we can just give her and start subtracting. Okay, let's see. On this one here, we don't have a common denominator. So I've got 8ths and 4ths. So again, we got to have a common denominator. So we're going to have to find equivalent fractions to make sure that we can then have equal parts to be subtracting. So I've got 7/8 and 4/8. So I look at the 8, it's a multiple of 4. So I'm going to find the equivalent fraction in 8ths. Again, to do that, I multiply that by 2. So then what I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 2/8. So I have 7/8 subtract 2/8, which is 5/8. I'm done with my fractions. And now I subtract the whole numbers. 5 subtract 3 is 2. Next one, we've got 16ths and 1/2. So then again, 16 is a multiple of 2. So I'm going to take this up to 16ths by multiplying the top and bottom by 8. So it gives me 8/16. 9/16 subtract 8/16 leaves me with 1/16. 9 subtract 4 is 5. Okay, now we're going to go into where we have to find equivalent fractions. And we'll have to do it with both of the fractions. So 1/3 and 4ths, lowest common multiple, lowest common multiple is 12. So I'm going to take this to 12ths and this to 12ths. So times 3 times 3 times 4 times 4. So this one over here is 8 on the top and then 3 on the bottom. 8/12 subtract 3/12 is going to give me 5/12. Done with the fractions. Now I subtract the whole numbers, which gives me 4 subtract 1 is 3. Okay, 5/4, 4/5 and 1/3. Okay, what are the multiples of 3? 6, 9, 12, 15. There we go. 5, 10, 15. So we're going to go to 15ths. Okay, so I'm going to times this one by 3 times 3 gives me 12 times 5 times 5 gives me 5. 12 subtract 5. If I remember correctly, I think is 7/15. 5 subtract 3 is 2. Okay, so there we have subtraction of mixed numbers.